Hey everybody. So I was actually doing the whole tweeting back and forth with somebody, and they were talking about how they wanted to go to Vegas because Vegas seems to be removed from all this everything going on. And I told them, I said, yeah, it's one of the few places that you pay for everybody to lie to you. And they asked, well, what do you mean about everybody to lie to you? I said, well, you go there and people will treat you better in Las Vegas than they do anywhere else in the country, most of the time in the world, because they're doing it for tips, for whatever else, and they're looking for payment. And then they replied back with, yeah, definitely, they realized what I meant by that. And then also cruise ships. And yeah, definitely cruise ships as well are that way. I went on my first cruise before the whole coronavirus hit. My wife and we were actually in Australia and New Zealand, and strangely enough, I wanted to go and visit and do a cruise around Hong Kong. Well, the coronavirus just started to leach out of China more, and her choice was, I really don't want to go to China, Hong Kong area. What about Australia/New Zealand? I said, sure, yeah, let's do that instead. Boy, I'm glad I listened to her. Lesson for everybody. Remember, listen to your spouse. But on the cruise ship, because I'd never been on one before, it's definitely the kind of probably how a lot of very wealthy and oligarchish people feel. Because more so on a cruise ship than if you are at a all-inclusive. And on a cruise ship, if you've ever been on one or not, people will pretty much wait on you hand and foot. You have to pay a little bit extra money for some services, but the majority of everything, you already bought and paid for it, and everybody's almost at your beck and call. And it felt kind of skeevy. For me, it felt really weird that I had to be waited on and be taken care of the whole time. I'm not used to that at all in the slightest. I really wasn't a fan of it. One, because it was that way, and second, it was a cruise ship, and I'm definitely not a fan of being trapped on a boat. Didn't join the Navy, so that could be why. Some of you out there, that did serve in the Navy or absolutely love cruise ships. I know there's people that live for cruise ships. They do cruise ships, that's their vacation. They do that, and they get to travel around. I personally like, when I visit another country, to be able to stay in places and pick and choose where and when I travel on. But it was a good experience. It wasn't a bad experience. I didn't have a bad experience whatsoever. It was definitely interesting talking to a lot of the workers that were there. The majority of them were from not high incoming, earning, or producing countries. And everybody there was kind, and I understand why they were doing that cruise ship, is because with between tips that they could earn and how much they could make, it was very comparable to what they could earn back home for a lot harder job. And that's one thing that in this country we definitely don't look at a lot, as people willing to go work a little bit harder have kind of a worse time for a couple months for a bit more money. There are people around this country that definitely understand that. Say if you work in the oil fields, you definitely know that. Really long hours. If you work in the fishing industry, if you're doing salmon fishing or crab fishing, tuna fishing, that sort of thing, really, really demanding hours. Long hours. Great pay. Obviously, it's always a little bit more dangerous. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting time for myself to be put into that situation that I never really thought of it that way before. But when I'm walking around the cruise ship, you look around and you see people, constantly cleaning everything up right after you. You get to leave whatever you want wherever you're at, and it's so strange. But yeah, it's probably very similar to the way that oligarchs kind of feel and how they want things, and they want to keep things. So yeah. Anyway, these are just my thoughts, and this is me using my voice. Remember to use yours, and don't be a mushroom. All right, take care, all. Much love. Bye.